Hi class, this is your instructor Megan. In this video I want to get you started on your mapping assignment. So what's difficult about this mapping assignment is that it's not as easy as just putting a bunch of things on a map. This is a storytelling assignment. You need to be able to tell a story with your map. Pick a story that is location based. Don't just, for example, label all of the vegetarian restaurants in your town. That's not really a story. It might be kind of a helpful tool, but it doesn't really tell us anything about that area. So choose a story where location is important. And as an example, I'm using what was dubbed in the media the race riots of 2001 in Cincinnati, where I'm from. With everything that's going on in the media recently with the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson, Missouri, a lot of people are sort of calling up this past event from Cincinnati where a very similar thing happened. A 19-year-old unarmed black man was shot by an officer. There were protests which descended into riot. Police and protesters clashed. So this is being brought up again in the media quite a bit. But this is a great story to put on a map because it's very much location-based. Even though the media sort of called this the Cincinnati race riots, everything was happening in a very specific neighborhood where there turned out to have been a lot of racial profiling and a lot of just oppression of the minority people who lived there. So this is a great story for a map because we see that things happened in different parts of town, and there were some areas of Cincinnati that weren't affected at all, whereas other areas were really plagued by riots and police forces were present throughout the days that the riots were happening. So I want to show you how I'm going to put this on a map. So first I went ahead and wrote up my story. Now I didn't write all of it since this was just an example. I only wrote 3 locations, but I would suggest doing the same. Sort of figure out what are the locations where the story takes place, and then type up an explanation for each location. So what I've done is I'm telling the story chronologically. There was a shooting that kind of kicked off the first protest, then there was another protest, and then there was another protest that kind of turned into a riot. Then there were clashes here, and then clashes there. There was a very famous press conference held by the police at one location. So I'm breaking my story up into chronological, location-based set. So you can see here's my first location, here's my second location, and here's my third location. And I'm going to start applying these to my map. So first I need to give my map a title, City Divided, and look at the 2001 race riots in Cincinnati. Okay, and then I'm going to put my subhead in here, which, as you can see, is providing a little context for those of you who don't know about these riots. I'm telling you, hey, this is something that happened in 2001. Here's what sort of kicked it off, and here's what happened. In the days and weeks following the shooting, there were riots that shook downtown Cincinnati. They actually led to a citywide curfew, which is considered to have ended this unrest. So I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to start filling in my locations. So my first location is 1313 Vine Street. So I'm going to click on this location. I've actually pulled in, I'm going to search here actually because I kind of forget. I already looked at it, but I forget which building exactly it is. There we go. So there's 1313 Vine Street. I'm going to add it to my map. And now if I double click on it, I can edit it. So I'm going to edit. I'm going to put in everything that I've typed up. And now I'm going to add some media. So this isn't just about labeling the locations, it's about using social media to help tell the story. So I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to click this picture button, and I'm going to search for some images. So I want an image of 1313 Vine Street, which at the time is called the Warehouse, so I might have to search for the Warehouse. Okay, that's it right there. Now, I want to make it clear that you're not just choosing random pictures. I'm from Cincinnati. I've lived there before, so I can verify that these are in fact the places I'm looking for. Some of these are not, like that's not the building, that's something different. So you're not just grabbing random pictures, you're choosing pictures that tell the story and that support the story. So I'm going to select that, but I actually want to add more pictures because I want a picture of Timothy Thomas, who was shot at this location. That's him right there, so I'm going to add that. And perfect. Now I want to add a video because I know that there's some good old footage of kind of the first event, news coverage of the first event. So I'm going to see what I can find. April 7th, 2001, Timothy Thomas. Let's see if I can find a video. Yeah, I believe this is the one I'm looking for. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to watch this entire video, but as you create your own map, you need to watch the video, because when I grade, I'm going to be watching all the videos. So don't just pick a video that you think is going to be good. Make sure the video makes sense for this location. But again, for the sake of time, I'm going to, I've already seen this video and this is the one I want, so I'm going to stick it in there. So now I'm going to save that. And so that's my first location. And now my second location is Cincinnati City Hall. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Yep, that's the one, Plum Street. Okay, so I'm going to add that to my map. And I'm going to add my text. I'm going to add some pictures. I'm going to see if I can find any pictures. Oops, I need to do the image search. So I'm going to see if I can find any pictures specifically from that day. So again, you're not just choosing random pictures. You want to make sure that these pictures match. Like here's one that looks like a good picture, but it says Cincinnati Police behind it. That's actually from my next location. That's not from City Hall. This one is from City Hall. And again, I know that because I have done my research and I have vetted these before I'm putting them in. So I'm going to select. And then I actually didn't search for a video, but no, I don't want that one. Yeah, I don't see any that are appropriate for this. So I'm not going to put a video here. I'm going to save this. Okay, and so your challenge in creating this map is that you need to tell the story, but it's difficult because you're breaking the story up into different sections. So people don't assume that people are going to start at the beginning. Somebody might come here and look at Cincinnati City Hall first, and they need to know exactly what they're looking at. So instead of calling this Cincinnati City Hall, I actually think it's better to call it First Day of Protests, Cincinnati City Hall. And then instead of calling this Vine Street, it's probably better to call it something like The Catalyst. Okay, so this is going to help people kind of understand where they are in the story. They don't necessarily have to go in order now. Now they can skip the catalyst and go to the first day. So what I'm looking for when I grade this is that you are using your social media, like your pictures and your YouTube videos, to tell the story, but you're also providing text. So you're explaining what these pictures are showing me, you're explaining what this video is showing me, and then you're labeling these things so that I can understand the order of the story and I can understand what's going on at each location. So a good way to kind of test this yourself is if you can look down your important locations list and it doesn't tell any story in these titles, that's a problem. If you just have addresses here, you're not doing as well as you could. You're not giving the context as much as you could. If I click on a location and I don't see any text at all, that's a problem because I need you to write the backstory to tell me why this is an important place. So I hope this was helpful as you get started on your maps. If you have any questions, as always, please send them my way and I would be glad to answer them.